Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Wadash. This is going to be just fair use, pretty much. Fair use information. This is on Fox News, you know what I mean, for research purposes, right? I'm going to play the video, just for research purposes, to analyze this video. But what they're saying is reparations is under consideration in San Francisco, and they're talking about up to 5 million for each so-called black person, so-called African American, which is really Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, mostly from the tribe of Judah, right? So they're talking about giving Judah $5 million for each one in San Francisco right now. Now, you got to be smart. I ain't gonna hate off of it. Hey, if they give them the money, they get them the money. That's good. If it starts a trend and this start happening all over the country, that's good too, right? And I don't want to come off like no hater or anything like that. But truth, truth must prevail, right? So you got to be smart. Never trust your enemy, because they're wise. What I think they're trying to do is, I think they're trying to collapse the dollar, and then the blame is going to be on so-called African Americans, because it's going to be, hey, you guys got all that reparation, you guys got all that money, especially if it starts a trend all around the country. It's going to be, hey, you guys got all that money, you got all that reparations, and that's what's weakening the dollar. And then eventually the dollar's going to collapse, and everybody's going to be pointing finger at the African Americans for getting all that money. Even though they've been getting money and stealing money, man, there's 5 million ain't nothing. You got those dudes on Wall Street that's been stealing billions for years and years and years. What is 5 million? You see what I'm saying? So, and then if you really break it down, just the stealing of the land of America and the resources that come from the land, and the slaves, the people, So, but I think that's what they're gonna try to do and set up. But hey, hopefully, Judah gets this money, but Judah has to be smart when you get this money, But it's not gonna happen. All you're gonna see is you're gonna see so-called black people in mansions when they get 5 million each. Especially if you got a household and your husband gets five, your wife gets five, and maybe your child, if they, I don't know if they got an 18 and over policy. We got to see what it's gonna be about. But some of these households, just like when they was giving out the relief funds for the pandemic or whatever it was called, right? Stimulus checks. Some people they was giving out 1,500 for the stimulus checks. Some people was getting back 4,000, 5,000 because they was getting stimulus for everybody in their household. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna have some people getting 20, 30 mil. Now, if the black community, so-called black community, is smart, they put their money together and buy land, buy actual resources. But it's not gonna happen. What you're gonna see is a lot of more black people in Hollywood now, because they're gonna be buying mansions, buying nice sports cars. Now, is there a problem about a sports car? No. If you can already afford it in your life or be able to get something like that in your life, then yeah. But if you're coming from driving Toyotas and now you finna be driving Ferraris and you don't even understand the maintenance that comes, because it's not just buying a car. When you buy a car like that, they're rare. So in your city, if you live in a small city, you may only have like one shop to take it to. And they gonna upcharge you on everything. Oil changes cost more in those cars. Just the tires cost more in those cars. The brakes, the rotors. I got a car right now. I got a sports car right now. Just for two rotors, my rotors on the front cost $1,000. Just for my two rotors. So if you're going from paying $200 to get new rotors on your car to $1,000, so you got to understand everything's more expensive. So a lot of people don't understand those things, so they're gonna start getting those things and living that life without no knowledge of it, and they're gonna run through that money. Now, if the black community is smart, like I said, they'll buy acres of land with 5 million. If you got 2 3 people in your family that gets that, your immediate family, so you get 15 million. That's enough to go buy 100 acres of land and build your house. Your houses for a decent 3 bedroom homes, you probably, well, wood prices of materials went up, so I could be kind of off with this figure, but shit, you could spend 150, maybe 200 now, K, and build a nice 2-story, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom home on your own land. So if you get 5 million back, if you a family, y'all get about 15 million together, you could easily go buy 100 acres and maybe build 3 houses on it for maybe $1 million, just $1 million. So now you have your own land. Now you're still under federal law, right? But you're on private land. So all those acres of land, you could do whatever you want to, but you will still be under like federal law. But you won't be in the cities, because in the cities that's where they hunt you. I ain't got my Bible with me right now, but this is just random. But I think it's Psalms chapter 10. They lay traps for the poor. How do they do that in the cities? You want to drive on these streets? Well, here's the requirements to drive on our streets. If you don't meet these requirements, then we can fine you. That's how they get you. How do most people get busted with different crimes? They get pulled over. You see what I'm saying? So we could pull you over because you're driving on these streets, and then they search your car or plant things on you. But when you on your own land, you ain't got to worry about that. You see what I'm saying? Because you're on private land, you can do what you want to do alone. But now you still governing under federal law. A couple gems right there. You know what I mean? But that's what people will do: buy land and build communities, come together, and hopefully, follow the law, statutes, commandments, and put the Lord first to the best of your ability. Not to say that we need to pull a pastor down, but I'm just saying for black people that's going to get that money, that's not prophets, that's not out there teaching the truth. Now, as far as those prophets, we know you can still go buy land and live on the land, but you got to come back to the cities because you still got to do the work. So if you could buy some land 30 miles, 60 miles outside the city, and you could still be able to travel to the city to go to do camp and teach the truth, then that's cool too. But that's just a couple little gems. But 9 times out of 10, our people gonna get that money, man, and they gonna be living lavish. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna cause the dollar to be devalued. So they're gonna give you all that money, but then at the same time, the money's gonna be worth nothing, and then the money's gonna collapse. And then once the money collapses, you could have $5 million, and it's gonna be the worth of tissue paper. Tissue is going to be more important than that $5 million you got. So I think that's what they're trying to do. So this is just a news update. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna play the video because I don't want to get the copyright strike. So you just got to look this up yourself. With that, I'm gonna say salvation to the elect. Shalom.